Developing a winning culture is critical to achieving consistent success. It will never happen by accident and requires commitment from everyone on the team. Let's look at a couple contrasting examples from Cleveland area sports team. Now, I've grown up in the Cleveland area, so we're going to use these Cleveland area sports teams, and many of us would find that the examples are a joke, but I think it'll be evident as we go down this list. They do have some good contrast. The first example is the Cleveland Browns, who just recently announced that they're willing to consider trading many of their top players to other teams. No doubt this is relative to the fact they've only won 2 games this year and have a history of losing. Many years ago, to give you an idea of the moves that they make, many years ago they fired Bill Belichick as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns because he didn't speak well to the press. Now, turns out he's a pretty good coach. Still doesn't speak well to the press, but he's a good coach, and the New England Patriots have seen tremendous amount of success with him as their coach. Controversy, yeah, that's understood. Bill Belichick is doing pretty daggone well. Now, the Browns also have drafted players at the top of the NFL selections only to have them never live up to the expectations. This is obviously a wonderful example of what not having a culture of winning can accomplish for you. Would anyone think the players that were threatened or to be traded or that came out, oh, you're willing to be traded or we're willing to trade you? That's not a motivating situation. On the other hand, let's look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. The owner, Dan Gilbert, has made some mistakes, admittedly, but what a commitment to provide the finest team possible, regardless of the financial considerations. General manager of the Cavaliers, David Griffin, is constantly seeking ways to improve the roster in a positive way. And his effort has produced an incredible result. LeBron James is personally recruiting top talented players, and I believe he's an essential part of the team developing a winning culture in the locker room and on the court. I remember an article last evening I was reviewing when LeBron passed 25,000 points at the youngest player to ever do so, stating, "It isn't about me, it's about the team." Contrasting culture, but definitely a fantastic example the Cleveland Cavaliers created of what a winning culture can do. It involves the entire team, from the owner, from the manager, and from the team players. So how do we develop this culture? How do we develop this in our dealerships? First, invest in your team talent. Commitment should always be given to invest in your team, providing them the best training available. They should have state-of-the-art tools and equipment with the latest computers and the software assisting them in performing their duties. Never be afraid to compensate your team financially, because if you don't pay your top talent very well, another team that is looking for it will. We need to recognize individual accomplishments. I know that one of the saddest things I hear on a consistent basis is when I go around, I always find numbers that are going very well. they're setting a record in this or a record in hours per RO or customer pay labor. I acknowledge that. And it's so sad when they tell me that fixed performance is the only people that acknowledge it or notice it or see it. If you want to have a winning culture, that should be a habit. Coaching for improvement, accepting poor results will never be a part of any winning culture. Team leadership must address quickly every area of opportunity for improvement. Coaching, however, should always be done in a private setting with the ultimate goal benefiting the individual and the team result together. Great leaders understand recognizing achievements of a team member 5 times for every one area of opportunity for improvement is a great ratio for success in coaching. A rule for leadership is to spend the most time with the bottom 10% performers. And if you look at this, if you look at your staff and say, who is the bottom 10%? If you identify, that might be just a few people. But if you focus your attention on what you can do to help these people perform better, it'll always bring the largest gain for improvement on your team's result. Acknowledging the top performers will fire the fuel they need to succeed. It's not that tough on your top performers. Just a thank you and I appreciate you and another record again lets them know that you realize their importance. But on the bottom 10%, if the poor performer shows no effort to comply with what the team needs and is committed to improve, they can't be happy. You must consider removing them from the team. If you have individuals that you're accepting poor performance on your team, these individuals are like a cancer to a winning culture and cannot be tolerated. You see, in recapping this, creating a winning culture is critical to the attitude of your team, to the goals of your team, and the productivity and efficiency of everything we do. And when you go into this day in and day out rituals that we get into, it's so easy to just focus in on the latest fire or your standard day in, day out process, procedures, or what you do. Stepping out and working to develop a winning culture is what I want to challenge everyone on this call to be thinking about. Look at how you can do it. Who's involved in it? How well are you doing? Do you even have a winning culture in what you're doing today? The real success, long term, of any company or team is dependent upon developing this winning culture. Will you do it? I hope so. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next week.
Hi, are you struggling to increase your service department's effective labor rate? Many dealerships today are. We can help you with our proven process and years of experiences. My team has been through all that you face today. We have found solutions for even the largest problems, such as employees that are not team players, No one updating the customer on the completion time of their vehicle? No walkarounds being performed at all, and worst of all, shrinking profit margins. Fix Performance is the solution you've been looking for. We will take your service department to the next level of performance by increasing your customer retention, turning your staff into a team, and best of all, maximizing your effective labor rate. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? Give us a call today at 888-205-8718. Fix Performance, where we have total commitment to your team's excellence.